family home.
And of course, there was plenty of talk about negative gearing after Peter Dutton brought it up at the ABC debate on Wednesday, and Treasurer Jim Chalmers admitted that he had asked for advice on negative gearing, but he insists it's not on Labor's to-do list. But the hide on Adam Bandt, Freya, running off and saying, look, you must give us the equivalent book, because at the Greens, we're just like Labor and Liberal, we're a major party now. Come on.
Well, that's right. I mean, the confidence of the Greens this election is really interesting, and you have to give it to them. They have worked very hard on social media. I see it on my social media all the time. They're doing a lot of collaborations with influencers who have massive followings. They have really, for Gen Z, become the major party. In fact, it's probably more normal for young people to vote for the Greens than it is for the coalition. And so I say we as in the Liberal Party, the Conservatives, have now become the fringe party for young people. And that is really concerning. And if we head into a minority government and Labor is forced to compromise on some of these Greens policies, it is going to be chaos.
I remember that the Chaser did a skit for maybe 15 years ago now in one of their election programs, talking to all these people saying why they voted for the Greens. And one of them was, I voted for the Greens because I wanted to get into the pants of this hot hippie girl, which is probably the only genuine reason to vote for the Greens, as far as I'm concerned. But it is interesting to see them carry on in this way, Amanda, as though they think they will be the kingmaker. That's essentially what they're suggesting. But if you were Anthony Albanese and you got into the position of trying to form a minority government, you would be going to absolutely everyone before you went to the Greens, because Labor knows what happened last time when they got in bed with the Greens. You'd be going for the Teals number one, I would think, to try and get over the line before you actually tried to negotiate with Adam Bandt.
Oh, no, I think they're friends. I think they like to position that they're not, and I think that's been a strategy that they've used for about a decade now, and they fight over key things, but I think they're actually quite friendly. The reason why a lot of the young people vote for the Greens is that they say all the headlines they want to hear. Tax the billionaires, you deserve this, the government's not doing this, or the coalition's not doing that. And I think it's a little bit hypocritical for Adam Bandt, who has 3 properties himself, that he says, we want to get rid of negative gearing. You can have 1 investment property and a home, but you can't have a third. So hopefully he's going to give up his third. But I'm not against limiting negative gearing, right? Because don't forget, they have managed to demonise property investors in one big bunch to the young people. So they say all property investors are evil, when we'll know what they need to be saying is institutional investors take a massive chunk of our property, including build to rent, which interestingly the Greens want. So the Greens are happy for institutional investors to come in and build to rent, which will literally make sure that you will never own a property in your life. You will just rent for the rest of your life. That's what they want. So they're kind of saying one thing but supporting another behind the scenes, and Labor support that as well.
But this is the great problem with the idea of scrapping negative gearing, Kel, is that all the people who are currently renting aren't just going to magically be able to buy the houses that they're currently renting overnight, because that's why they're renting. They don't have the money sitting there to go off and buy it. So the idea supposedly is that if you get rid of negative gearing, it'll be deflationary on the property market, because all of these houses will just hit the market at once, and then all these first home buyers are just going to come in and take them. It's not the first home buyers who'll come in and take them. It will be even richer people who can afford to buy the property and take the short-term loss on having the property rented out, in the hopes that they'll get the long-term gain of the capital gains. Now, for someone who owns an investment property like me, which, by the way, was the first home I bought, I'm not just sitting on hundreds of them, but it's rented out, I make a loss on that property. If you said you can't negatively gear it anymore, I would have to sell the first home I ever bought because I now live in a different city. So I go backwards, and that's essentially what they're saying. Everyone has to go backwards who's got a couple of homes, and the big buyers will snap them all up and get even richer.
Okay,